Hi everyone, it's Eden Claire again and welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and click the notification bell to be updated on my videos.
And on we'll go.
So for today's video, it's going to be more on talking since I'm going to talk about 4 famous artists. These artists are really my favorite, not just because of their artworks but also because of their stories and the behind meaning of their artworks. They really inspired me to become an artist and to have my own art soon, maybe. So now let's get into the video. Since I'm going to really talk about each of them, it's going to be boring, right? So to have a twist, while telling you guys about them, I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint just a simple paint of the Starry Night. After the video, I'm going to show my painting. Hope you like it. So I'm going to sketch the Starry Night first before I'm going to paint it. So first, I'm going to talk about Van Gogh, my favorite artist. And yes, who is Van Gogh? So Van Gogh was a Dutch post-impressionist painter who is among the most famous and influential figures in the history of Western art. So in decade, he created 2,100 artworks, including around 860 oil paintings, most of which date from the last 2 years of his life. So one of his most known work is of course the Starry Night and the Sunflower. So Van Gogh was born on March 30, 1853 in Groot-Zonder, Netherlands. So Van Gogh's father is Theodoros Van Gogh. His mother is Anna Cornelia Corbentos. So his mother is also an artist. So that, I think he got that talent of his from his mother. He was the eldest of 6 living children. Van Gogh had 2 younger brothers, Theo, and one of his younger brothers, Cor. In 1873, Van Gogh transferred to Gruppel Garli in London. Then he fell in love with the English culture there. So he did not just fall in love with the English culture, but he also fell in love with his landlady's daughter named Eugenie Toyer. When she rejected his marriage proposal, Van Gogh suffered a breakdown, so he threw away all his books except Bible. So he devoted his life to God. He also wanted to become a minister, so he became a preacher. But after that, he was forced to find another occupation. In 1885, he began to work on what is considered to be his first masterpiece, Potato Eaters. That was his first masterpiece, the Potato Eaters. Several of his paintings now rank among the most expensive in the world. He sold one of his artwork, Irises, sold for $53.9 million. And a few of Van Gogh's most well-known artworks include Starry Night, of course. In his asylum, where he was staying in Saint-Remy in France in 1889, the year before his death, he wrote a letter to his brother Theo, and this is where he the Starry Night was inspired. So this is what he wrote in the letter. This morning I saw the countryside from my window a long time before sunrise, with nothing but a morning star which looked very big. So a combination of imagination, memory, and emotion and observation. The oil painting on canvas depicts expressive swirling night sky and a sleeping village, which a large film flame like cypress, the one that is black, and thought to be represented the bridge between life and death. So the painting Starry Night was currently housed at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. So one of the interesting story about the Van Gogh Catholic because he was suffering from physical illness and his psychological health was declining. After that, he was hospitalized, but he was still depressed, alone, hospitalized again. On July 29, 1890, Van Gogh died in the arms of his brother Theo. He was only 37 years old at that time. That was so sad. Today, Vincent van Gogh was considered to be one of the greatest and famous artists in human history. I'm going to paint now, and for this next artist, I'm going to talk about Auguste Rodin. Francis Auguste René Rodin was a French sculptor generally considered the founder of modern sculpture. Rodin was born into a poor family. In 1858, he decided to earn his living by doing decorative stonework. In 1862, he considered entering the church, but in 1864, Rose Borre became his life companion, although he did not marry her until a few weeks before her death in February 1970. Rodin began to work with the sculptor Albert Carrier Belleuse. In 1875, at the age of 30, Rodin had yet developed a personally expressive style because of the pressures of decorative work. So the inspiration of Michelangelo and Donatello, he molded the bronze the Vanquist. It was his first original work, the painful expression of a vanquished energy aspiring to rebirth. So at an age when most artists already had developed a large body of work, Rodin was just beginning to affirm his personal art framework, out of which he created independent sculptural figures and groups. Among them, his famous The Thinker, originally conceived as a seated portrait of Dante for the upper part of the door. So again, about 1885, he became the lover of one of his students, Camille Claudel. This lady, the gifted sister of the poet Paul Claudel. Their attachment was deep and was pursued throughout the country. So during the years of passion, Rodin executed a sculpture of numerous couples. The most sensuous of these groups was the kiss. The work, originally conceived as the figures of Paula and Francisca for the Gates of Hell, was exhibited in 1887 and exposed him to numerous scandals. So that was the story of Rodin. One of the famous work of Rodin that I really love is The Thinker. Very detailed, and it was also very catchy, like demanded positions. And now for the third artist, he was a Filipino, and his name is Leandro Viloxin. Leandro Viloxin is a Filipino architect, artist, and interior designer. He was also proclaimed as the national artist of the Philippines for architecture in 1990. Leandro Viloxin was born on August 15, 1928 in Silay City, Negros Occidental. He was a grandson of the first governor of the province. Although he was a talented pianist, he later changed into architecture just a year before graduating. So the Diliman Catholic chaplain Father John Delaney commissioned Locsin to design the chapel. So the Church of the Holy Sacrifice is the first round chapel in the Philippines with the altar in the middle and the first to have a thin shell concrete dome. Today, the church was recognized as the National Historical Landmark and a Cultural Treasure by the National Historical Institute of the National Museum, respectively. In 1969, he completed what is to be his most recognizable work, the Theater of Performing Arts of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. So in 1974, Locsin designed the Folk Art Theater, which is one of the largest single-span buildings in the Philippines with a span of 60 meters. It was completed in only 77 days. Most of Locsin's work was found here in the Philippines, but in 1970, he designed the Philippine Pavilion of the World Expo on Osaka, Japan. His largest single work is the Istana Narol Iman. the official residence of the Sultan of Brunei. So that was the story of Ge6, and now let's go to the next artist. So now for the last artist, I'm going to talk about Kitty Taniguchi. She was a former Suleimanian. Kitty was born in Manila and she was raised in Dumaguete. Kitty studied in Suleiman University, finishing her bachelor's degree in mass communication in 1978, and also her master's degree in English literature in 1985 with her thesis entitled Gothic Tales in Sikihor, champion of feminine aesthetic, and is among of the few Filipino painters who had successfully intruded upon a male-dominated art world. She was a veteran painter who devotedly explored and experimented themes of femininity and all of women representations that challenged the perception and interpretation of social and cultural conventions. All of her works are due to her personal experiences, and her depictions of women in portraits are of expressions of truth, reality, and challenges that women faced through the centuries of oppression physically and spiritually. One of the reasons that I really love about her artworks because it loves stereotypes and fixed typesets. And also her works explores images with playful masculinity and femininity expressions, and also quirkily with loads of social issues. I really love her and also her artworks. So I'm almost done with my painting. Going to finish this first before I'm going to. So goodbye for now. I'll be back later. Hey, so what's up you guys? I'm back. So I just finished painting the Starry Night and here it is. So I will be showing a montage video of this painting. So that would be all for today. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something from my video today, and yeah, see you to my next video. Bye.